People will come.
The bagels, they come.
Guys, break down the wall back there. Break it down.
I love it.
Quiet down at the end.
They'll all be here on the last day. Have no fear.
We're gonna have from now on. We're gonna have surprise good mornings of food, and if you don't come, you don't get it. That's it.
No.
That's a surprise.
Eli alive.
Nothing in the surprise. We'll just take attendance.
Yeah.
If you're not there,
you can't come. You can't come. That's it. Who aren't there? Take a video. Not of you. Take a video of them.
Pass the orange juice, please.
People watching in America have no, they don't know what you're talking about. What?
That is.
I'll show you what it is.
Go to share in America.
That is a piece of
Go to
chocolate.
America. So go to share in America.
No, they go to the best of the best. All right. I got a mazel tov from our Manchester friend. I'll show it to you after that. He said, yeah. Oh, okay, fine. We can start.
What do you say? Yeah.
No, I just said from your family, your shpachah, and family. Introduce himself. You watch this. It's growing.
Hey Manchester guy, how's it going?
What? You're here? Okay.
We're talking because it's on.
Believe it or not, we're holding on the base on the Aleph all the way in the top.
That was Chait, by the way.
By the Mishnah. Here? You know where we're holding.
Yeah. Mishnah, man. Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
The game's over here.
Zok the Mishnah was starting brand new Masechta. Whoever wants to start a Masechta and finish it and know it well, this is the one to do because Arachin is basically the easiest Masechta in Kachim. It flows very, very nicely and smoothly. It's only like 30 something daf, 32 daf. Says the Mishnah, Hakol ma'arichim v'ne'erachim, noidrim v'nidarim. So if we start from nidarim, it's a little bit easier, I think. A nether means the may ploini alai. If somebody says, he makes a nether, he says, whatever that person's value is, I'm going to give to Bedek Abayis. So what do? You take that person, and you bring him to the slave market. You say, how much is this guy worth? He's a real strong guy. He's worth $1,000. He's a weak guy. He's worth $100. Whatever he's worth. Ma'arichim and Arachim is the same thing, but it goes by what the Torah tells you his value is. The Torah says, here's a chart. The Torah says each person has a different value. If you're in a keva, you have one value. If you're a zocher, you have more value. So from a month, the values, the erichin only start from a month. There's no erichin on less than a month, but there is true value in less than a month. So if you go to the market and you want to buy a newborn baby, it'll cost you $20,000 or something. It's a lot of money, a baby. But the Torah doesn't give it any value. The Torah says 0. You have to be at least a month old till 5 years, it's 5. From 5 to 20 years old is 20, this is all a male. From 20 to 60, sorry guys, it's 50, and then it drops down. After 60 years old, it drops down to 15. It's interesting to notice that a woman doesn't drop down like a man. A woman, after she's 60, has the same value as between 5 and 20. Anyways, today we're not even discussing this. This is not on the board for discussion. What?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, men are worthless at home when they're old.
No, worthless.
Women are
worse than.
They're worthless. They're basically,
It's worse than.
I wasn't asking a kasha like,
women
wow, I
are
never
very helpful in the house.
So this is everything.
When you said about market value,
Yeah.
the baby's worth 20,000. Market value means as to be sold as a slave.
Right. So slaves are, some slaves
A
are,
baby wouldn't have a value of to be sold as a slave.
how do you know how much the baby's worth? I would buy a nice starker baby for $20,000 if I know that in 10 years they'll grow up and work for me forever.
I'll tell mine.
I don't know. Fine. Hakol ma'arichim.
The dog.
That's exactly. If a dog costs $1,000, mine was not. And a dog costs a lot of money, so a human being costs a lot more. Lamashana, it has value. When the Torah says that under a month old, there's 0. You don't. If somebody says erech, this kid on me, it's actually machlokes in the Gemara. You're going to see. So hakol ma'arichim. Every person in the world could say, I want to take the value of so and so onto me, and I give whatever that value is. Let me find out how old he is and how much he's worth, and I'll give that money to Bedek Abayis. Hakol ne'erachim, and a person could say on himself, erki olai. Or somebody could say on him, I want to give Stefansky's erech to the Beis HaMikdash. That's ne'erachim. He could be the subject, or he could make somebody else the subject. Noidrim a person can say, I want to give so-and-so's value to the Beis HaMikdash, v'nidarim, and somebody could say on him, I want to give so-and-so's value on me. Kohanim, Levim, Yisraelim. The Gemara is obviously going to explain, and not only going to explain, it's going to go into all the different places where it says Kohanim, Levim, Yisrael. Noshin, va'avodim. A woman could say, Erech pleni alai. Now what does she do? Now that she says it, how is she going to pay? She has no money, she's married. Says Rashi, she has an obligation to pay when she gets divorced.
She's got all the money. You have no money. She's got.
Yeah, she has credit cards, yeah.
Her family gives
Or
her
somebody
money
gave her a
aside.
gift on condition that the husband has nothing to do with it. Va'avodim, same thing. A slave who says, Erech pleni alai, or my erech al me. So you get what erech is? It's more understood?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Va'avodim, so the Eved also, he waits until he's freed and then he pays. You guys don't have a dot probably over here. I do, I have Nikudas. So by you, it just goes straight in. Noshim, va'avodim, tumtum, v'androgenos, noidrim. Oh, you actually have a dot. Okay, fine. Because this is a new sugya. Tumtum v'androgenos, it's a whole new parsha. Basically, the Mishnah says, you don't really need this chart, but just because I made it anyways for the video. 3 out of 4 apply to Tumtum Androgenos. The only thing that doesn't apply to Tumtum Androgenos is Ne'erachim. Nobody could say on a Tumtum, I'm sorry. He can say, this is a mistake actually, wow. Ne'erachim?
No, it's right.
No, yeah, it's right. He could do an erech on somebody else, but nobody could do an erech on him because he is not a zocher or a nekeva, and the Torah says zocher nekeva. He has value. He could be sold as a slave. Nobody on the slave market, if he's a strong guy, just because you can't tell if he's a man or a woman, it doesn't take away from his, maybe takes away from his value, but he has some value. In terms of Erechin from the Torah, you cannot say that he is the subject of Erechin.
You would say the minimum?
What?
It's a something, it's a man or woman. Why did you say it's the woman?
Oh, so how much? No, but you can't do it on him. No, because that's the whole shayla that we have. Bria b'fnei atzma, but that has nothing to do. The Torah says zocher nekeva. He's neither.
Right.
You're talking about in a tumtum. You're asking in case of a tumtum that it's hidden. If he's an androgynous both, you don't have a question.
Right.
In the case of both, it's a suffix. Okay.
There's no fixed value because you just have to evaluate it. Because you don't know if he's a car.
So do the most. Do the bimachmer as the that's what he's asking. Noidrim v'nidarim u'marichin, aval lo ne'erachim she'enu ne'erach ela zocher v'adai u'nekeva v'adois. You need to be a vadai. Here it says in the Mishnah, the answer to your question, it has to be a vadai zocher, not a zocher. It has to be vadai zocher. You have to know what it is. Cheresh v'katan. What's a katan? As we're going to see in the Gemara, not less than 13 by a boy, but less than 12. Nidarim v'nerachim. People could say on them, they have value, so people could say the value of that cotton or the erech of that cotton, like we saw, it starts from a month old. So somebody could look at a baby and say, I want to give that value to the Bedek. The cotton has no das, he can't go ahead and make a nether. The nether is not going to work.
What's the difference between the worth of the Chirsha, the cotton, or the erech?
No, they all have erech and they both have worth. But they can't do it.
As the Chirsha of the God Nidrin, V'nerach. What's not between Nidrin and V'nerach?
No. Nidarim v'nerachim, we said before, this is erech, whatever it says in this chart, not a penny more, not a penny less.
The other one is?
Nidarim is how much they are truly valued.
The true value.
You take a cherish, perhaps a cherish has zero value. Maybe nobody wants him as a slave, or it's a very low value. A shoita, you wanna bring a shoita into your house. What is he gonna do for you? He's gonna just ruin things. So on the slave value, he has close to nothing, let's say. But on the Torah doesn't care if he's a shoita. The Torah says 20. That's it.
Yeah.
It's always 20. Yeah. It doesn't matter if the guy is about to die or the guy is an NBA player and he's worth millions of dollars. He gets 20 shekel. That's it. So shoita also. But if you're gonna go by nidarim, by how much his true value is, then you bring him to a slave market and you're gonna find out real fast how much he's worth. Now the Gemara goes on a huge tangent through Shas. Many sugyas. Very fun stuff, easy. It's mamish easy stuff. It's just going one after another. All the times it says in Shas the word hakol, and what it comes to include. We take for for granted. It says hakol. Hakol means everything, and then the Mishnah goes on to explain what it is. So what else is there? Just explain what it is. Why does it have to say the word hakol? So hakol ma'arichim la'asui mai. It has to come to include one thing that's not in the Mishnah. La'asui mufla samchlish. This is referring to a katan, a young child who's close to being an adult, meaning from 12 years old in a day till bar mitzvah. 13, Shtei Cyrus. That year, if a kid says Erti Alai or Erti Plani Alai, he has to bring it. That's it. It's a good neder for him, even though he's not bar mitzvah. It's a big chiddush. Ne'erachim.
He's a mufla, right?
Mufla means he's
Say it was being noted.
what? Yeah, he's saying, but not only could he say, he's obligated to Ne'erachim.
Why?
It's a chiddush. That's the chiddush here.
We normally say for everything else, he hasn't got das.
Right.
He can't stand up and lay in.
No,
You see it's different.
No,
You see,
no.
an Isha is not included in this list also, even though we say she usually doesn't have das here, she does have
He does
das.
have das.
All right, at least one
That's the
surprise we
same
have
level
today.
of-
Also, Nevid is not included.
All right, that's a good one. Fine. Shkoyach. The Kavod Erachin. Hakol Marichin. Okay, so we have Ne'erachim. Lasuyimai. What is the word Ne'erachim? People could say on you that you have an erach. Lasui minuvel mukishchin. So we always say minuvel mukishchin. Did anybody ever see what a minuvel mukishchin looks like?
Yeah.
I have pictures.
No, don't.
No, you don't have to look.
There's no locks to
This guy is a minuvel. I looked it up. The ugliest man in the world, this guy came up on Google. And this, Rabbi said, I've never seen this, but it's really bad. This guy literally doesn't have any value in the shuf. This is a mukashkin. He has boils all over his body. But even though he has boils, it's a very horrible life. I would say, says the Gemara, so kedai dechamina neder bergecha. We gotta turn this guy over. Sorry. It says in the
That guy looks
pasuk.
happy. I don't know. He doesn't look sad. He looks like he's having an okay time.
He's never looked in the mirror. It says in the pasuk, word after word, neder be'erkecha. So I make a limud. The neder, nedarim, which is the market value, has everything to do l'chayra with erechin. I would say that if somebody has value, then he could be in the chart of Erichin. If somebody doesn't have value, he can't be in this chart at all. And a mukashchin, who in the world is going to buy that guy with the boils? He's worth less than zero. You have to take care of him. He can't do anything for you. He can't go out of shop. He can't do anything. What is he going to do? So Memela, I would have a Havamina. He's not in the parsha of Erichin. He's not worth 20, 50 shekel, whatever it is.
Feed the animals.
Because he scares your wife. You want somebody like that around your house?
Why do you buy him to scare your wife? Buy him to work in your field. What is this?
And where does he sleep? Where does he hang out?
field and they can know how
Kids would you take a guy like that? Think about it for a second. Would you take a guy like that?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
He cleans us. I was just been told he cleans chicken in the local supermarket.
You make a nice hut in the field, and he works in the field.
Yeah, okay, fine. You buy him.
You never see him.
Okay, so there's a value. Some value. I don't know. For me, it's if you had a choice, you're in the slave market. You have a guy for $100 and you have a guy for $10,000. You're gonna get that guy for $10 to save a few bucks, and have this guy, and you have to take him to Kupat Cholim every day. You have to smear all this cream on him. The cream costs more than he does on the field. What are you talking about?
Smears own cream.
Anyways, what?
That's the word now.
Right. No, Nedarim is the worth value. Erichin is what the Torah says. This is Erichin. This chart is Erichin. This is the Torah value. Torah
And the
value.
word vowels was
Nedarim, a neder.
That's the.
Ellie,
It's
he
like
might
a
be
regular
very
neder.
strong, so let him work all day. What do I need to care about him?
Because I told you, you didn't listen. He has medication. He has his needs.
Why do I need to
3/4 of the day he's in the hospital. Whatever the reason is, we'll figure it out.
Moving right along.
So Memela, Kamash V'Lo, Nefesh is called to it. That's interesting. The Torah says even a guy like this is by me. Yakush Baruch Hu says he's a nefesh. At the end of the day, he has a soul. He's a person, and he has a value. In my Torah, you don't want to buy him as a slave. That's your problem. But for Yakush Baruch Hu, he has value like everybody else. There's no difference between human beings. Noidrin lasui mai nidorim mitzvah. So the word hakol noidrim doesn't come to say anything. Yeah.
You're contradicting what it says in the Gemara. So I understood the Gemara. The Gemara says because he has no value,
You shouldn't be an Arachin. I would think. Havamina. I would think that I make such a hekesh neder to
As a
Arachin.
living being.
Kamashal, I don't make that. I don't make that hekesh.
Because he's a living being.
Because there's a word in the Torah, nefasha, is that comes to exclude it. It's in that same pasuk that says neder be'erkecha. At the end it says neder. Right, the next word ki yafli neder be'erkecha nefasha is lashem. That to exclude. Don't make that zeri shava. Every nefesh. So the word noidrim doesn't come to say anything, but it comes to the following word nidarim. Nidarim lasui mai ila asui tumtum androgenus. If it comes to say that tumtum androgenus could do, people could look at them and say they have a value. That's in our Mishnah. Vila asui chereshavei katan again. That's in our Mishnah. Ila asui pochazim ben chodesh behedi katanu. To say that a child under a month old, somebody looks at it and says, I want the value of that child, it has value, that's on the following Mishnah that hey. Vila asui nachri behedi katanu. To say that the value of a goy, it's also the famous base. Says the Gemara La'ilam La'asuyi Pachas Min Chodesh. V'hoda v'tani v'hoda mefarish. So Rashi says two pshatim. According to one pshat of Rashi, there's actually machlokes Remeir and Chachamim. If a person says on a child that's less than a month old, even though everybody knows the chart, and on the chart it says that the chart only starts from a month old. What if a person says that 1 day old baby I want to bring to the Beis Hamikdash? Machlokes Remeir and Chachamim. If a person says shtusim, or he doesn't say shtusim. Maybe a person never says shtusim. So when he said erech baby ami, he meant the real true value of the baby. Now he really got into a mess because that's very expensive. Akoponim, the Gemara is saying over here, but when he makes a neder, everybody agrees that the baby has value. That's the chiddush. In erechin, if a person says erech baby that's 2 days old on me, this machlokes is whether he pays 0 or he pays the market value. But when a person says, I want the real value of the baby, then even Chachamim admit that he pays the true value. And then there's a concept called Vitani. It says it in the Mishnah Hakol, and then later on the Mishnah elaborates more. So there's not a true chiddush here according to this, the word Hakol. And Rashi says in the first pshat, according to this pshat, it's dafka, a baby that's less than a month old. That's the big chiddush because of the machlokes Chachamim and Remeir. According to another pshat in Rashi, the Gemara is just talking about a baby, but the Gemara could have also said goy, could have said tumtum androgenos, that the Mishnah just elaborated. Okay, now we go through Shas. Hakol Somchim. When did we learn Hakol Somchim? The Mishnah. Hakol Somchim. Everybody can lean on an animal. Only about 3 months ago, in Menachos. Everybody needs to lean on an animal. What's everybody? Lasui Mai, Lasui Yoirish. That if somebody inherited a carbon, let's say a father designated a oila or a shlamim, and he died, so the son that brings the carbon has to lean on it just like his father would. Uda like Rabbi Yehuda, and not like Rabbi Yehuda. As the Gemara is going to say in a second. Akol mamirim temura. What's temura? If you have an animal and you have a nicer animal, you want to do a favor to Akash Baruch Hu Kaviyachol, and you say, oh, I want to bring this nicer animal instead of the one I designated, it's awesome to do, but if you did it, both go on the Mizbeach. Everybody could do that. Lasui Mai. Lasui Yoresh. Even somebody inherited a carbon from his father, he becomes like the father, and Memelo, he has the right to do Temuro, like Rabbi Yehuda, the Sanya. Yoresh, Soimach, Yoresh, Meimar. Rabbi Yehuda, Oimer, Yoresh, we should just fly through this Gemara, because everybody knows the Gemara, we just learned it 3 months ago. Rabbi Yehuda, Oimer, Yoresh, Eine, Soimach, Yoresh, Eine, Meimar. My time with Rabbi Yehuda. Oh, so, very pashut. It says 3 psukim in a row in Vayikra Perek Gimel Vav Zayin Ches. All 3 psukim say the word Karbani, Karbani, Karbani in a pasuk after pasuk. So Memela we have 3 drushes. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the first one Karbani comes to say not the Karban of his father. It's an exclusion to the father and Chacham Mechulek. Karbani v'le Karban Olev. The Yolev mitchilas hegdish misoy hegdish. The beginning of hegdish means temura. When I designate an animal, now I make a different designation. I say another one should be instead of it. That's in the beginning of the hegdish. What's the end of the hegdish? The smicha, because you do it all the way at the end when you bring to the Beis Hamikdash, right before you shecht it, a minute before it's over. That's when you do smicha. So the Gemara calls that the end. So there's a connection between the beginning and the end, according to Rabbi Yehuda and according to Rabbanan. Just the question is, which one goes first? Rav Chacham say you learn the first one, the beginning, the Hegdish, you learn it from the end. Smicha. Masoif Hegdish Yoresh Ein Soymech, just like when it comes to the end. Somebody that inherits an animal doesn't do Smicha, Avtchilas Hegdish, Yoresh Einoi Meimar. And therefore, Yoresh, we know also the concept that there's no Tmura by a Yoresh. So the two things go together. There's no Tmura, and there is no Smicha. V'Rabbanon, Homer Yomer. It's obviously double Lashon. Why do you need a double Lashon? Again, regarding Tmura, you should do Tmura, Homer Yomer. The rabbi says HaYorish. They come to include someone that inherited an animal from his father, V'Yafin Soif Hegdish, B'Tchilas Hegdish, and over here it's the opposite. Since I have a ribuy to say even an inheritor, so in Mela, I should learn Smicha from Tmura. Ma'atchilas Hegdish Yorish Meimar, I learned from the pasuk that a Yorish does Tmura, Soif Hegdish Yorish Soymech, so therefore somebody inherits does Smicha. Rabbanon, Hai Karbonim Me'avdilei. Now the Gemara just goes through all three. What do you do with Karboni, V'lei Karban Goy? You do Smicha on your own carbon, but not a carbon of a Goy. Karbanoi V'lei Karban Chaver. The second one comes to say, and not your friend's carbon, which is basically similar. The guy and your friend. Karbanoi the rabbis called Bali Chayrim L'Smicha. The halacha is, if you have a bunch of partners in one shlomim, let's say, each and every one must go and lean on the animal. It's not enough to send your friend and say, hey, do the leaning for me. Rabbi Yehuda, the rabbi is called Bali Chayrim L'Smicha Leslei. Rabbi Yehuda, who learns one of these karbanos to exclude a father, so he must remove one of these three limudim. Which one is he going to remove? He's going to remove that shutfim, each one has to do smicha. Rabbi Yehuda holds no. One shutf can do smicha for everybody, therefore he has an extra karbanai to exclude a father's karban. And even if you'll tell me, maybe Rabbi Yehuda agrees that a shutf cannot do smicha for his friends, everybody has to do it individually. These two guys, the upper two psukim, blue and purple, are basically the same. The Torah is saying, karbanai, your karban, which will exclude your friend's carbon, a guy's carbon, but not a father's carbon. Why?
It's not his.
Because a father's is his. A father's is like yours. You just inherited it. It became yours, says Rashi. And therefore I need a special one carbon comes to say, not your friend, not a guy. One carbon says not your father, because your father is not your friend. Your father is you. You just inherited. It just became your property. And the other one is to say that all shutfim have to lean on it. Rabbi Yehuda, Hai Homer Yomer. The Rabbanan just learned Homer Yomer that you're chayev in Tmura, that Yerush does Tmura. What does he do?
Korbanoi is a meal, but it's not that all shutfim can do it. Is that I can't rely on you as a shutaf. That's a korbanoi.
Really? That's how you learned it?
Because it's
I learned Karbana is a meal. Besides Karbana is a riboy. That's how he learned. Interesting.
I didn't see it in him. We spoke it out. Rashi's legit. He says ve'ein echad soymech alav. And everybody has to do it. Ve'ein echad soymech alav.
I learned Karbana. It's your carbon. You're a shutaf. You must go do smicha. It's a riboy, not a meal.
You can't use Karbana for a riboy.
What?
Because it's meal.
No, it's an explanation. Karbana, you do smicha, even if you have 5 other partners. Karbana, it's your carbon. That's how I learned. Here, interesting. What does the Arshbo say on this? I don't know if he talks about it. Is it a meal or a riboy?
It's not a meal, not a riboy. It's what it means.
That's what I said.
What it means, korbanoi.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And he's saying that he's kind of learning it, that it's, he wants to continue, he wants it to be consistent. All karbanos are miyutim, and mela, there's some sort of miyut in a shuddah. That's what he's saying. The rabbi says that a woman could do smicha. Tmura, the sign in Lafisha Kola Inyan Ela Midava Ela Lashon Zachar. The whole parish of Tmura is talking in Lashon Zachar. Massive fan the rabbi says, how do I know that a woman could do Tmura? Tamad Loy Mavim Homer Yomir, a man and a woman. That's the double Lashon. V'Rabbanan Meveim, they learn a woman from the word Ve'im. Rabbi Yehuda Ve'im Loy Darish. Zog the Gemara Gishma Kakol Chayom Misukah. What's everybody? a small child who no longer says Rashi and Tosfos brings
Child,
Rashi.
small child. Child.
A child doesn't scream "Mommy, Mommy." Basically, you're right. Today it's like my 17-year-old still screams "Mommy" in my middle of the night. So it all depends on the generation and the child. You're right, 100%.
What about Tumtumim with the druggedness?
Chayiv. Hakol chayam b'sukkah. Everybody's chayiv in a sukkah. But here's unbelievable. If you look in the halacha, which I looked up yesterday, it says a katan is mechuyev to sleep in the sukkah and eat in the sukkah. You are mechuyev to train him from a very young age. When he stops screaming, "Man," he stops knocking on your door, running into your bedroom in the middle of the night. That from that age on, you must be mechanechim for all hilchos sukkah, not a one-time thing. Oh, eat everything, all meals. All sleeping.
This isn't that a katan is chayav. A katan doesn't have chiyuv.
We're talking about the father has a chiyuv to be mechanech. What's the gil chinuch? Interesting, because over here the gil chinuch is when he stops screaming "Mommy." So
We differentiate between a son and an adult in it?
there's no chiyuv on a daughter.
But it's a call.
Yeah, women are not part of an adult woman is not chayiv in a sukkah. So why would a katan? Why would a tana? But if we look through this, every mitzvah has a different age. The mitzvah of sukkah is when he stops running out of bed. I guess it has to do with sleeping and leaving the sukkah in the middle of the night. It's not.
Is it all right?
No, chiyuv chinuch.
No, but I mean, is the implication from this
From Hakol. Hakol in the Mishnah is telling you who's.
So could you deduct from that that chinuch is the right?
No, I don't think so. You're making a double deal, a backwards deal from the Mishnah says Hakol, which is based on the famous Mishnah in Sukkah. I just remember Shammai. What was it? They used to make a little hole in the ceiling and on top of his son's crib.
Grandson.
It was a grandson. I don't remember that. Okay,
His daughter's son.
that's what it says.
I think so.
Okay. Hakol chayavim belulav. Lasui mai, lasui kotan hayudeh lenanea. If a kotan knows how to shake it, backwards and forwards, up and down, whatever that age is, that's the age. Even if he still screams mami mami, he's chayiv in lulav. What's interesting is that they ask the question, the Gemara always says, you just lift the lulav, you yaitza. So why do you need to do na'anuim? Some Sofer says, Amar Dik Pshat, he says that if you know how to do na'anuim and you just lift it up, it's okay. But if you don't know how to do na'anuim, then lifting up is not okay. Chiddush. Other people say no. We're talking about chinuch here. So your obligation is to teach a child that knows what to do when he's older. What's chinuch? When he becomes of age, he should know how to do the lulav. You don't want to teach a kid lift it up like that. That's not what you're trying to teach him. You're trying to teach him the whole mitzvah. How do you do a mitzvah? You back, forward, up, down.
No, right, left.
Nufa. That's exactly where we learn. Very good. That's exactly where we learn na'anuim from. It's not kotan hayudel and nanei chayav lulav. Hakol chayom betzitzis lasui mai lasui kotan hayudel isateif. Comes to include a child, a youngster who knows how to put on his clothing. What does that mean? So when I first learned them, I thought maybe I was putter from tzitzis. My maisa, I love this maisa. I was a bacher in Yeshiva Chaim Berlin. I put this you could write. This one you could write. I put on my tzitzis. I had all the kavanah. I said Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei minei mizaynos, and I put it on in the morning. It was Messiach. You know, you make brachas. What is it called?
Barot.
Barot. Thank you. So that's not Yudei L'Satif. I thought that was the pshat. But he says no. L'Satif means
That's the story I
wrap.
right?
You said Belavaya. To wrap around your head.
To wrap.
To wrap it says things like Yishmaelim, like those the women. What do you mean? It's somebody. I love that myself. That people can make brachas. You don't even know what you're doing. You just say bracha. I was tired with it. He says up to the mustache. He says. I guess they used to mamish wrap up like a ninja, or maybe it's downwards from here. Hakol panim. Another pshat in Tosfos is that you know how to put your two strings in the front. 2 strings in the front, 2 strings in the back. You see, we set you up.
You made your place, Hillel.
Yeah. So again, over here is a kid that knows how to put on and rap. What's rap? It's a different age than not screaming mommy or shaking a little. He knows how to watch his body, not going to the bathroom or not falling asleep. So over here, the Gemara sticks in another word that the father buys him tefillin. It doesn't say buys tzitzis, because the Gemara is saying over here, either one pshat, the Rishonim is that Taisus brings this, that tefillin are very expensive. So the father actually has to buy him tefillin. Whereas tzitzis, all kids had tzitzis in those days. All of them wore daled kanfos. In those days, everything was daled kanfos. Question is, you have to put tzitzis on or not. But the point is that it's an expensive item, so we're not going to say that the kid has to take care of it.
No, but tzitzis, you don't have to buy tzitzis. If you have the garment before,
right?
So
Yeah. That's bismanenu. That's bismanenu. In those days.
That's why you don't have to.
You can't borrow the tefillin because he wears tefillin all day.
Right, exactly. He's not going to bother. That's another thing. By a lulav, again, Taisus points this out. I think it was Taisus. By a lulav, you just borrow your father's lulav. It's no problem. But tefillin, you can't borrow your father's tefillin. He's wearing it all day. People wore it all day. There's nothing to lend over here. Hakol chayav and beria. Everybody has to go see the Beis Hamikdash. Question if it means to bring a carbon or to see the Beis Hamikdash, but chayav beria. La'asui imai, la'asui mishe chetzoy eved, v'chetzoy ben choyrin. Somebody that is only a half a slave has to go see the Beis Hamikdash. Says Rashi, beautiful thing. Says Rashi, since it says in the Torah, es play odain Hashem, mishe ein loy odain Elohu. A person that has some sort of master at all, even 50%, doesn't go to Beis Hamikdash. It has to be that because Baruch Hu is his master 100%.
How often do you have to do this?
Shalish Regalim. You have to go every Yom Tov. You go
to see the area of the Beit
To bring the Beis Hamikdash.
Carbon
Riyah.
Ula and Olas Riyah and or the Chagiga Shlamim. Ula Ravina do Omar. Misha Chetzu Yeved v'Chetzu ben Chorim Potum min Riyah. And the Gemara is going to take us back. But right now we say the Ravina holds that a Chetzi Eved, Chetzi ben Chorim, does not have to go up to the Beis Hamikdash. La Asuye comes to say Chiger b'Yom Rishon. Somebody who was lame, he was a cripple on the first day, he had a broken leg, and he healed. V'Nispasha b'Yom Sheni, he was able to start walking on the second day, because it says in the pasuk Shalish Regalim, you should go up 3 legs. So we actually darshan, you have to have legs to go to the Beis Hamikdash. If your legs are not working, even though it means Yom Tov, but we take it literally also, it means you have to have legs. If you don't have legs, you're potter. So it comes to say that somebody what?
According to Mandam, when it says Re'iyah is a korban, what does a figure have to do with it?
What do you mean?
Saying figure is according to Mandam, where that Re'iyah means you have to walk up and you can't walk up to the base and make that. According to Mandam, where that Re'iyah means you have to bring a korban.
So you have to bring up, you have to walk up.
Walk it up.
Yeah, you have to go there. It's just a drush. It doesn't mean
If you can't bring it, are you supposed to see
no,
the
it
area?
means you don't have to walk it up. If somebody drops you off in a helicopter, you're also yaitze. It means somebody to have regalim. He literally has feet on him. Doesn't mean mechuyev to take 5 steps. It is a machlokes whether his chiyuv goes from the first day and applies also the second day, third day. In other words, there's a new chiyuv every day. If you don't do it on the first day now, it just transfers. The chiyuv transfer another day. Or no, maybe the second day is there just to make up what you didn't do tashlumim for the first day. But this guy was potter because he had a ptur. So just because he's able to do it on the second day, his ptur still is in effect. He was potter to do it on the first day. And if the second day is only a tashlum for the first day, he's potter completely. A person that is blind in one eye is chayiv to bring the oilas riyah. Udelaike aitana the Sanya Yochanan ben Nahavoy remember Shuvah Yehuda Summa Bach is made of potem and riyah. This man says he potter. Why? Shenema yira yirah. This is very interesting because we know the concept of yesh ein l'mesoris and yesh ein l'mikra. So usually it's machlokes. Do we darshan the word as it's written in Torah or as it's pronunciated? But over here. What? Pronounced. Pronunciated. Pronounced.
Or enunciated or pronounced.
Correct.
What about
Or what?
What about pronunciation?
What's wrong with
Nothing's
Just
wrong with it.
combobulated.
It's a
All the
great
sheets
mosque.
together.
It's a whole nother way, a whole nother take on an old word.
Lusprach.
great.
It's yeshivish. What was the word?
What, mispronounced?
No, what did I say?
You said
Pronunciated.
Yeah.
Givaldic.
Can't say it.
Givaldiated. Word. Fine. Akoponim. Here's what's going on here. Since we have both words, so we're going to make Xer Shava Hekesh Ish Eim L'Mesaris Teim L'Mikra. And one means Yira, he should see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the way it's written. And the way it's pronounced is Yera'eh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should see you. Kavyachol.
That's usually applied, like in the Gemara in Sanhedrin, it's Sukkahs,
Yeah.
where one's Mole, and when we dash in it, the Ksiv,
Yeah.
or
But that's
the
over
reading.
there. It's actually machlokes. How do you
But then-
learn?
but then you've got
6
two
walls,
different
4 walls, 3
Correct.
walls. But one, I
Because-
take this side, you take
because
that
it's
one.
written-
Over here, we're taking both.
It's written a chasser, and
Yeah.
you dash in it and it's pronounced, which means.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's not a
Mole.
chasser you're saying over here.
Yeah,
Over
but
it's
here
just
it's the same way, both the reading and the thing.
I don't know if you're right. I have to look into
By
that.
the way, if you go according to Mikra,
Yeah.
Both words are the same.
Rachel, and then we see you have to go and beard.
Go on.
Fine.
Why do I have to have one exclusion? Why is it more common? It's like all that. It's just people exclusion.
What do you mean? Well, excuse me. We're going through each and every one of Shas. We're mamish flying through Shas
So I
now.
have to find one. We found something. Sort of doesn't work when you find something else. There's many others out there that don't apply.
But at least one. You should come up with one. We don't even have one. We're trying to get one. We don't even have one. We're trying to get at least one. Of course, if there's more, this is great. But we don't have one. Anyways, it comes like this. Shenemar Yira Yira. Yira is the way it's written. Yud Reish Aleph Hey. And it means HaKadosh Baruch Hu see. You should see HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yira means the way. This is the way we read it. Hashem shall see you. So we make a drash. Like the way Hashem can see. How does Hashem see? Full vision. He doesn't have anything blocking him. So when you come to Beis Hamikdash, don't have anything blocking you. You should have 2 eyes. L'maisa, it comes to say the case where a person is a half slave. I forgot to mention. How are you a half slave? If somebody's a slave and he was owned by Shutfim, and one of the partners to one of the brothers just let him go, so Memela, he is a half a slave. And you have the Shita Ravina that says that a half a chatzi is potter, like Kasha. At the end of the day, the Gemara is going to say even Ravina admits that it's chayev. Why? Kam be Mishnah Rishayna, kam be Mishnah Achrayna. In the beginning, there was a Mishnah, and it's not the right Mishnah, and we know Mishnah leizazim imkaimah. The Mishnah was written, and it was already part of the tune. Everybody knew about Peh. Later on, when they retracted the Mishnah, it stayed within the song, it stayed within the Mishnayos. So, what we said in the beginning was wrong. Kam be Mishnah Achrayna, understand? Misha chetzi ev v'chetzi ben chayrin. He's a big problem here. There's a big problem for the owner, the second owner. If he's not a slave, he's not going to work at all. So we say over this rabbi he works for himself one day and he works for his master one day. What could he do? Great. Now you figured out what to do with the second master. But what about that himself? He's not concerned about him. Lisa Shifcha he can't marry. He still has the Isser to marry Shifcha. He has Isser to marry a free woman. Yibatel not to get married. It's amazing Gemara. The whole this Eved has a tremendous chiyuv of Pruruvush and Emar. Loisoyu Vera L'Sheves Yitzara. The Gemara brings a pasuk from Yecheskel, not even from the Torah, from Yeshaya. Loisoyu Vera L'Sheves Yitzara. Loisoyu Vera. I didn't create the world that it should be empty, desolate. L'Sheves Yitzara. I created it to inhabit it. That's right. That's what it says here. We had that actually just a few weeks ago when it came to Gerim and the Mekayim the mitzvah. That's also a very interesting concept. We make this guy be over Israel la'olam b'hem tavaydu in order that somebody else should be Mekayim a bigger mitzvah pruruvu. How does that work? I should do a small mitzvah that you should do. I should do a small avera that you should do a big mitzvah. Let's finish up here. Because
You know, you can't say that. You can't say that. Because we have no idea which is considered bigger, which is considered smaller.
Why? No, we've got the Shabbos. Gilul Shabbos. Somebody's ill.
In general, we don't know.
we don't know. I didn't say it. I didn't say
I'm
it.
just saying. In
I'm
general,
not
we
making
don't
this
know.
up. I didn't
Because
make
this
this up.
particular line.
Yeah, no, the
We're Machal Shabbos.
Rishonim discussed it.
So
Okay.
you should be able to keep mitzvahs in the future.
It's a mitzvah for free.
No.
It's like-
When
Koch Nefesh is a
No, but when the
different thing.
when Hakadosh Baruch Hu
No,
says,
Koch Nefesh.
"Rossi, I created this whole world." It's a tremendous lashon.
No, I know.
I created the world for this purpose.
I'm just saying.
He doesn't say it
the
about
Torah
lulav
says that
and other things.
that we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know the sechar, but in terms of you see the boards of visuals.
Koch Nefesh is not a right. Koch Nefesh is not a
Because
right.
if Shtar Chatzi Domov, yet the slave must repay the second master. Why should he lose? He has half a slave. He should get his money back from the slave himself. It says the Gemara, they retracted it. And Memela, since you have a Chatzi ben Chayrin, he is basically free because his master cannot use him anymore. He must free him up. So he has a loch as a free slave, and he is mechuyev, even according to Ravina.
Complete rerun of the
Hakol chayam t'kei shofar.
I told you.
La'asui mai, la'asui kon shigil chinuch. So everybody's chayav in shofar. In other words, even a katan who came to the age of chinuch. What's the age of chinuch? Says Rashi, the age of chinuch is like by Yom Kippur. For fasting Yom Kippur, which is a machlokes in Yuma, is it 8-9 or 9-10? It's very interesting. Ask Tosfos, what is the connection between fasting and a shofar? Every mitzvah should have to do with, if you know how to shake a lulav, you shake a lulav. You know how to put on a tzitzis, you put. That's the age. Every mitzvah has to do with how you know how to do that particular skill. So he doesn't like that pshat.
What's the mitzvah to give a shofar? Is it to listen or to blow?
No, so over here we're talking about blowing. He has to know how to blow, Tosfos says. You're right. He has the mitzvah to listen, but the when it comes to chinuch, is him blowing. As we're going to see in a second, him knowing how to read the Megillah. Anybody can listen to Megillah, but he has to know how to read the Megillah, which is very, very probably the most difficult thing in this entire daf is Megillah, because you have to know the entire Megillah with taimim, without nekudas and everything. That's the hardest job. Yeah, and blowing shofar is a very high age. It's 10. It's not saying mami and knowing how to put it tzitzis, two in the front, two in the back.
So
But
you
a
say
3-year-old
women
can do.
also have to learn
What?
know how to learn Megillah, basically.
Yeah. Let's just go weiter. Hakol chayom b'mikra Megillah. We're almost done. Hakol chen. Oh, sorry. Visnan ima'akim sakotam l'tkoya b'yontoy. I mean, we can start from here. Oh, it's not the raya from these words. The raya is from the continuation over there that says that you teach a kid up until the point where he knows how to blow a shofar, and that's over there in that Mishnah. So out of that. Let's just, if we continue one line, should we continue? Yeah, we have 2 minutes.
Why
Let's.
can't the Kohen read the Megillah for me? If he's got a chiyuv to learn and read the Megillah, why can't he do it for me?
Very good. I don't know.
So
Let's
his
see.
chiyuv is mitzam chinuch, no?
Look, he has a good cash. He has a good cash. Look at this next slide. Hakol chayam b'mikra Megillah. Who? Hakol chayam b'mikra Megillah la'asuyei mai la'asuyei noshim. Says Rashi ulahoitzi zcharim. A woman can be moitzi a zachar. Says Tosfos. Yeah, it says Tosfos that Ava Bahalachas doilis with pasuk achi, and he says at the end the women have a chiyuv. Why? Afhem, like the Gemara says, but says Tosfos, their chiyuv is to listen to Megillah because they were in that nace, but not as far as to go to say that they're moitzi other men. It's only 30 days, Rabbi, so I hold tight.